Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road. Today we're with Bong Nebrija and his EDSA reaction unit. They're looking at these barriers that have been smashed down. Unfortunately, people do sometimes crash into these, especially buses. We just saw a bunch of MMDA scooping something off the road. I'm not sure what the situation is yet.
Madaling araw pa yan sir eh. Nadat na lang ng tropa.
Okay.
Nung nadat na ng tropa, ano na lang fire truck. Ngayon, pangatlong hakot na lang fire truck.
Mixer yan.
Hindi ko na ano kung kasi nadat na ganyan. Tinanong din nila yung guard, hindi rin nila napansin.
We still need to confirm if this is really coming from a cement mixer or a dump truck holding, well, actually it's like gravel and mud.
So there you go. I think they'll have to review the CCTV to see exactly how all this got here. But what a mess, and it's very slippery. If a car comes through here, hits their brakes, they will skid. So at least the MMDA guys are here getting us off the road. When I first saw this, I thought they were doing some kind of road works, and I asked why are they doing that this morning during rush hour. But no, apparently it looks like this may have been dumped here either by accident or on purpose. And here comes one of the MMDA fire trucks to hose it down. I wasn't expecting to see Bong dragging the bags to the side also. They're trying to get away as much as they can before they put on the hose and then clean this down. It's a safety issue really, because this is a highway, vehicles are passing very fast. If they hit the brakes, skid, could potentially be fatal. And yeah, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but when you've got how many vehicles on EDSA, 300,000 a day at the moment, something like that, this can cause major problems, even something as simple as this. If you're like me, when you first saw this, you might thought to yourself, that shouldn't take too long. But actually, it takes a bit of time to clear and the right equipment, so it's no easy task. And they've now moved a little bit further along, just across SM North. You'll see many signs like this in the area: no parking, loading, unloading, stopping, waiting anytime, because this is a choke point, so they want to keep everyone moving. They're moving into the road now to flag down a Jeep. He cut through the bus lanes, stopped there, unloaded some passengers, then cut all the way across again, and he's just causing traffic, causing congestion. So one of the enforcers has gone into the road now to tell him to pull over to the side. Of course, it's not just on the ground enforcement, they're also doing enforcement by camera. Both of them go hand in hand. I've seen a couple of tricycles that have come speeding along as if they're going to join EDSA. They look at Bong and then they make a U-turn and go back. They know they're not allowed on EDSA. The problem is they're always in this area, especially North EDSA. Most of them, they don't have a driver's license and the vehicle's not registered. You see the enforcer was signaling that taxi to move forward because he stopped right next to the sign that says no loading, unloading. The enforcer's telling him get off EDSA and then load, unload on a side street. So one more ticket being written out now for illegal loading, unloading. Again, the jeepney cut in front of all the buses, stopped for a while, unloaded a bunch of passengers, then tried to cut across all the lanes again, and they're just writing out the ticket now. And two more stopped for the same reason. The driver of this one tried to argue, so the enforcer reminded him, you're also not wearing uniform, you're driving in slippers. And I'm sure if they kept looking, they would find a million more problems. That's a nice minibus from the National Housing Authority. Pretty cool. It's a good way of moving your employees around. And you'll see we're actually joined by a very special guest today, Bong's wife. My first time to meet her yesterday, although we have spoken many times in the past. And it's good to have her here on the operation, even if it's just as an observer. And they're just issuing a ticket now to this taxi for unloading. The thing is, there's a gas station just in the background there. If he pulled into that station and unloaded his passenger there, he wouldn't have any problem. But because he unloaded them on this choke point where there's so many signs saying no loading, unloading, he's now being given a ticket. So Bong, what are we looking at? What's going on here?
Well, the problem here at the split of Quezon Avenue southbound, many private and public utility vehicles try to cut their way in. So they will pass through the third lane, fourth lane, and then they will cut through. And that's why most of the time we have obstruction on this part. that delays the southbound vehicles.
And in fact, we literally saw that as we arrived. There was a jeepney that zoomed along here and then suddenly cut across everybody. And of course everyone was angry, honking, because they're queuing in the correct lanes, waiting their turn, and then a jeep just zooms up the side and cuts in at the front. It's very unfair. Now they can try their best to push them into the right lanes, but ultimately at some point one of the problems comes down to the sheer volume of vehicles. And as you know, EDSA is already over capacity. It's not designed to handle this many vehicles. I just saw a bus in the distance there. He was actually in the second lane. He pulled out into the third lane to come forward, saw Bong, went back again. And that's the problem. What is he thinking? He's probably thinking, I'll go here, zoom to the front, cut in front of everybody. But instead, he's just added to congestion. And look at what's happened now. The buses have blocked absolutely every single lane from the very left to the very right. No vehicles can pass through anymore. Look at this truck, awesome. And there you go, with a bit of work, all lanes are now flowing. And that's what it takes, a little bit of discipline, a little bit of order, and a lot of manpower, to be honest. And look, just next to EDSA, you have this really nice water feature. You don't even have to go outside of Metro Manila. We're now across Mega. Bong and the enforcers at my back are working on the traffic here. Sometimes vehicles will stop next to Bong and want to shake his hand or take a picture, but he has to wave them on, which is unfortunate because it might look like he's being rude, but actually he just can't afford to have the traffic stop. Right now they're trying to get everyone in their lane early so that they don't have congestion over here, because, well, with this diplomatic vehicle, for example, you can see he's now trying to cut across and he's going to cause traffic, going to add to congestion. And there is a SEA Games delegates convoy coming through shortly. I'm not sure if it will also be holding athletes, but they want to make sure that everything's going to be smooth for them, because hosting the SEA Games is a very big deal for the Philippines. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and so far they've been doing a pretty good job. Yes, there were a few hiccups at the beginning, but since then things have been going very well, and other countries have been commenting about how impressed they are. We just spotted there's a car sitting in the bus lane over there. Why is he staying there? It's going to cause so much traffic. Bong is pointing to him now, telling him to go forward, but he doesn't appear to be listening. In fact, he's now reversing along a highway in the bus lane. What is he thinking? So apparently that was for this property here, the classic Presentia. Thing is, that doesn't answer to the hundreds, thousands of vehicles passing through EDSA. It doesn't answer to the SEA Games delegates that are going to get stuck. How long were they going to sit here in the road if Bong didn't come over? And that's the problem. People don't think about how their actions will affect everyone else. If you block one lane during rush hour, bus lane, you are going to cause major problems. So here come some of the delegates now. They have their bike escorts at the front. And then you'll see they've got extra escorts at the back, most likely for security. In the distance there, I've zoomed in on a silver car. He's also come to a stop, sitting in the bus lane with his hazard lights on. It's been there for a while. So what you'll see here, one bus lane is open, but the other bus lane obstructed by vehicles that came along the yellow lane, and now they're trying to cut across. And this is the kind of thing they're combating every day. Some vehicles just don't seem to know where they're going. Now, of course, some people have said, why don't you install a physical barrier to prevent people using the bus lanes? The problem is people need to enter and exit EDSA. That's why they can't do it. If the buses were on the inside two lanes over there, it might be possible. On the outside here, there needs to be access for all vehicles.
Ay, nako, tigas ng ulo, Starek.
And I was curious to see, is that Star X really going straight? No, he's not. You'll see he's trying to cut back into the private lanes. So really, using the yellow lane as an express lane. This bus hasn't even made an attempt to pull over to the side. Look at how much distance there is. And then a motorcycle comes along and crashes into them. Look at this one, not even using this lane. He's just stopped in a second lane, blocking both active lanes. Seagame delegates are still waiting for another convoy to come through, and then they'll say, hey, there's too much traffic on EDSA. Why is there traffic? Because of people like this. And you might say, hey, it only took him 20 seconds. Yes, it took him 20 seconds, but look at what happened behind him. This was fast flowing a few minutes ago. Now it's solid. And where did he stop? Literally right next to the sign that says no loading, unloading anytime. Bong is telling this guy to stop walking in the road. I have no idea why he's walking in EDSA in the first place. Look at how wide this sidewalk is. Well, that didn't last long. Look, he just wandered into the road again, almost got hit by that bus. What's wrong with this guy? Why is he like that? Whoops, there he goes again. Where is he going? Maybe he needs medical assistance. I love those big police trucks. They're so awesome. You'll see the MRT is running. Actually, there's a train going both ways right now. Of course, many of the trains were updated recently to have better aircon, so that's good for commuters. That's the first time I've ever seen this. There's a van here for Rapid Turbo. Apparently there's some kind of protest here outside Camp Aguinaldo. I actually don't know what the protest is about. If it's anything political, then it won't be something I'm covering because we're really focused more on traffic. There's not many people here, but they are very noisy. The thing is, why did they park their vehicles here on EDSA? Why didn't they find legal parking nearby and then walk here on foot? They don't have to park right here on EDSA. And from what I heard before, jeepneys can actually get in trouble for this because they're not plying their route, which means commuters could be affected. I don't know in this case, but it has happened in the past. For everyone else, it's business as usual. Keep the streets clean, keep everything in order.